Apparently, they just announced the End of Dragons Elite Specialization, the Specter.
Did you hear about the Specter?
I didn't! I'm about to watch it. Thank you for the heads up. Alright, let's check this out. Alright, I've not seen this before. Thank you, subs. Calm down.
Thanks for all the guides and funny moments on stream. You really give me a good laughing when I hear all the funny stories. Moo kloo kloo, mukluk love moo kloo kloo.
You're very welcome. I'm gonna give you the long proper thank you in just a second. Hang on. Alright, let's see what this is. I'll try to watch it without pausing, and then we'll watch it again. Oh, it's a vampire. Wait, that's the lady from RE8.
All thieves know the advantages of hiding in the shadows, but specters know how to wield them. They are masters of shadow magic, using their scepters to direct dark forces in debilitating enemies.
That
In
downward
Shadow
look.
Shroud, specters can tether themselves to allies, granting them a protective shadow barrier.
They picked a very good character to show it off. Alright, okay, so after Guardian got Thief, it looks like Thief is getting Mesmer. That's so cool! Bubbles and teleports? Alright. Okay, let's go back through this again. First of all, I love that they got Lady Dimitrescu to play the Spectre for this. I bet that was most of their budget. They can't afford Felicia Day anymore, but I think they nailed it on this. Good job to them. Alright, second, the icon, the class icon. A lot of us guessed from the very, very, very beginning, when we had all 9 icons and we didn't know who was what, that this was either going to be the Thief or it was going to be the Warrior. And it is indeed the Thief. Oh man, I just realized. Spectre gets Scepter. You know, they had some meeting and they're like, what should we call the, the class that gets Scepter? And they all just stared at it for a long time. Maybe they miss lunch. They're getting a little irritable, and then someone goes up to the board. And you know the board is like those little magnets on a fridge where you can move the letters. He's like... And then it says Spectre. And they're like, oh! First of all, you promoted, you know.
All thieves know.
Watch Hammer Ranger's gonna be called, like, the Merham. Alright, so we got our Scepter here. We got Lady Dimitrescu here with the shadows.
The advantages of hiding in the shadows. But Spectre...
That teleport has a very long animation. Comparatively to, for example, their short bow teleport, you know, while that looks awesome, that's a long animation.
Of hiding in the shadows. But Spectre...
So I hope that whatever this teleport is, does something... It either A, is a group teleport, or B, it like gives you a ton of boons when you go through the portal or something. You think it's just slowed down? Maybe? Maybe.
Know the advantages
but
of
I'm assuming
hiding in
this
the
is in
shadows.
real time, and I'm just reacting as
But
such.
specters know how to wield them.
Okay, so... Bunch of... Wait, was that offhand pistol? Yeah, it is. That's the pistol from Grothmar, I believe. Okay, so it looked like she fired like a smoke bomb from the left hand.
They are masters.
Now, that might be the, what is it, Scepter Pistol 3. For those who don't play Thief, their 3 skill is a mixture of what's in their main hand and their offhand. So that means that, you know, Scepter Dagger will have a new 3, Scepter Pistol will have a new 3, etc.
They are masters of
Alright, so she did like a pop-pop. That might have just been the 1 skill, or it could have been like the 2 or something, but I like the animation. I like the kind of ink that goes through the air. It's kind of like a caffeine-free diet, 0-calorie Twilight.
They are masters of shadow magic, using their scepter.
Bop, 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 and then... All right, Noxxi, you're in the chat. Noxxi, remember that video you made of the firebram, and he just went poof, and just like leapt into the air, and you played that music with it? I'm giving it to you for free. You could do that with this. Just reuse the same joke. You could just literally take the video you've already made and just put this footage over it, and then just keep the audio.
To direct dark forces.
All right, so that was she leaps up, and then all these dudes just blitz.
To direct dark forces.
And then she lands, and she does a Zarya ultimate. So it appears she has like gravity bomb.
Forces in debilitating enemies.
And these guys, it looks like they got pulled and like
using
a small
their
knockdown.
scepters to direct dark forces in debilitating enemies.
Right there. Now this serves no function other than that's a really nice shot. They chose a pale human with red eyes looking down, like, yeah, that's what's up. Like, that's a good shot. Alright, and then we've got some new attack here, where she spins around and hits him with almost a punch.
In Shadow Shroud, Specters can tether themselves to allies.
Alright, Shadow Shroud. Also, there's a giant bomb under her feet, like from Engineer. Not sure if related, or she just crapped that out. I don't know. Shadow Shroud. So, I think most of us are wondering right away, is that like their new their function key? Do they hit F1 to go into Shadow Shroud? Or is it going to replace their whole hotbar, their 1 through 5, similar to Death Shroud or an Engineer Kit?
Granting them.
So she put like a beam on her ally.
And a protective shadow barrier.
Okay. So one thing we can't tell, because there's only one ally on the screen during this, is it says puts a protective shield on allies. Is that allies? If she's in a 5-man group in a fractal, can she put the protection on all 4 of the others at once? Or is it just one? Meaning you would, she'd be like a main tank support.
Tether themselves to allies, granting them a protective shadow barrier.
There's that one skill again where she did like a triple tap. I'm guessing that's either I'm guessing that's the 2. Because the 3 changes based on your offhand. I'm guessing that bop 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 is the 2, which is kind of silly.
And a protective shadow barrier.
Wait, did that resistance appear when she did the 2 skill?
Granting them a protective shadow.
She has the resistance boon. And it was either A, it happened right when she did what I'm assuming is Scepter 2, or B, she used something that's off of the it doesn't interrupt weapon attacks to give herself resistance during that moment.
Protective shadow barrier.
So that's interesting. She said allies plural. Well, allies can be interpreted as, can be put on allies, like, any of them but one at a time. Or it can be interpreted as attaches to multiple ones. It depends on how they decide to go about it. Very interesting. I said it back when we were looking at what the different classes might get, but my biggest hope for Thief was something not pure DPS. Now, for those of you who might not know what I mean by that or why I'm saying that, when you're forming a group at endgame in Guild Wars 2, you usually, you want a tank if it's a content that needs a tank. Not all content does. You need a healer. You need quickness. Now, you can get a healer that provides quickness, such as a Firebrand or a Scrapper. You need alacrity. You want a Banner Warrior. If you can swing it, spirits from like a Ranger or a Soul Beast, and then any slots left, a Thief is allowed to join, along with Weavers and those other people. So, right now, in the current state of the game, in PvE, Thieves are like in the last group allowed into a group because they don't provide anything. I would love if they get some kind of beneficial boon where they can, they will be wanted in groups more. By the way, while we have this pause here, it looks like she's got knives on her belt on this side and like haircut scissors on this side. Who Who is the barber that killed people? Like Tim Burton did a video, did a friggin' video on it. Sweeney Todd, thank you. Immediately I saw that, and I'm sure that's not scissors, but I thought of Sweeney Todd. I thought of Sweeney Todd.
Thieves know the advantages of hiding in the shadows, but specters know how to wield them. They are masters of shadow magic, using their
Yeah, I'm guessing that bop 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 is the 2, and then the left right swing is the 1, and then we've got her hair. Look at her hair. The hair doesn't keep up with this.
scepters to direct dark forces.
So we've got a very long range movement skill. Do you think that's the elite? We have what appears to be a large movement skill that ends with gravity bomb. I wonder if this is the elite.
In debilitating enemies. In Shadow Shroud, Spectre...
I hope that if that is the elite, you get to see that camera angle every time. Like, you basically stun yourself because you have to watch that cinematic of your character looking down at people every time you use it. This is Sylvanas on her way to a new job.
can tether themselves to allies.
5 in Shroud?
Specters
I don't
can
think she
tether
was in Shroud
themselves
there.
to forces. Masters of shadow magic, using their scepters to direct
Yeah.
dark forces in debilitating
She doesn't look like she's in Shroud during this.
enemies. In Shadow Shroud, Specters can tether themselves to allies, granting them a protective shadow barrier.
It's cool. It's cool. I'm gonna say I'm guessing that the leap into the movement skill into gravity bomb, I'm calling it gravity bomb, is I'm gonna guess that is the elite skill, and we will, and then the Shadow Shroud. So far, we only know about her. Like, one, there's this big puddle on the ground. I don't know what this is. There was the thing where she channeled a beam on an ally, and also there's this bomb-looking thing. This looks like, graphically, that looks like a bomb kit from the engineer. Like, it is the literal same animation. When you have an engineer and you equip bomb kit, they're holding that thing. However, bombs go off like 1 second after they hit the ground. That is just sitting there. So, not sure what that is. Could be a mine, which doesn't trigger till something gets near it, or, although engineer mines have a different graphic than this, or it could be something completely different. Something that comes to mind is engineer can drop med kits, which people run over them for healing. They're not great because it relies on the DPS to think, and they're not good at that. There's the Revenant, which has the healing orbs they drop on the ground that heal people when they run over them. They're not great because they require the DPS to think, which they're not good at. There's Scourge Serpent Siphon, which has the little orbs that give people barriers. You get the idea. So I hope this isn't like, you have to come get this to get boons or something, but it could be anything. We'll see. We will see. Let's see. Chaotic says Specters can tether themselves to an ally, granting them a protective shadow barrier. Couldn't this mean the Spectre gets protection, not the allies? It could be interpreted as one, the other, or both. But it's entirely possible that they like buff the ally and then they do not buff themselves or something like that. Not sure. Honestly, not sure. But yeah, so that's the Spectre. That's the Spectre. That's my guesses on it, and we will know more soon. Alright, so this came out a few days ago, but I didn't think it warranted its own video for it, so I'm going to add it in here. This is the first peek at the 9th Elite Specialization, and judging by the coloring, we can clearly tell that the Necromancer is getting a second new Elite skill, in addition to the Harbinger. Or, by process of elimination, if we ignore the coloring, it is the Engineer. We have got what appears to be a peg leg here at the bottom left, probably just the camera angle. Obviously a char, which is always the model for the engineer stuff. We've got 2 gloves that appear to have wires coming off the back of them. Honestly, that really shows that this guy's an inexperienced engineer, that he doesn't tuck the wires away. They're going to get snagged on doorknobs, and that's a big, big not okay. That's a 0 IQ move. And then he's holding what appears to be one of the following. This could be either a goldfish cracker. It could be one of those toys where you squeeze the handle and it does like a punching boxing glove on the end. I believe this is a metal fist and it's just going to bop, 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 bop. Or it could be a drumstick. This guy might just be celebrating Meattoberfest. It is the time of year for that. I think that this guy's just like, you, bring me more beer. You know, like, it honestly seems pretty spot on. But if it's not a Happy Meal toy, well, it's clearly a one-handed blunt object, which leaves either scepter or mace. Or, here's the big brain. It's just a meat stick, and this is a spear. Oh yeah, like the Virtuoso, that is actually a spear behind the character. It's not perfectly straight, because this is char craftsmanship we're talking about, and they're pretty crappy. But, yeah, we've got a halberd coming. Engineers getting halberds and meat sticks confirmed. Real talk, though, if this is a mace or a scepter, between the two, since engineers don't really use magic in this world, I'm guessing it's going to be a mace. Also, it could just simply be the art, but it looks like it's in his left hand. Offhand mace would be weird, so it's probably not. However, just to you know, flesh out that thought, if it was offhand mace, that mean it would have to be main hand pistol. Which means you could only bonk, it would be really odd, it would be awkward. So I'm guessing that's main hand and that's just an art style. Or maybe, similar to like the Spellbreaker, Spellbreaker got a dagger for both hands. Maybe we get mace for both hands. Maybe they're gonna be just drumsticking on other people's heads with these things. I don't know. Now, as far as the usage of it, the icon that most people assumed was attributed to the engineer was, let me scroll down here, this guy right here. Now, we got confirmation today, which I'll be attaching it to this in the video, that this is in fact Thief. My guess is that this is Ranger, and we're guessing this is Engineer. So what is this? Hypothetical, not hypothetical, possibilities is that either this is a torso, this is a head, and these are two just like Macho Man Randy Savage arms. Now, what could that mean? That could mean you get like giant golem arms, like Vi from League of Legends, which would be very, you know, maybe it's something to do with these gloves with the wires, or it could be similar to the Bladesworn that had the bullet gloves that had really nothing to do with it at all. It could be that they drive around in a mech suit. The Asuras in the game already have elite skills that are not very great, so nobody ever used them to summon a mech suit. So the technology is already in the game, but they can summon these things hop around. They could possibly have an entire spec built around doing this and just like piloting something like this the whole time. Maybe you have like a second health bar that protects you, but then if you get destroyed, you fall out of it. Thinking of like Diva from Overwatch right now. Or, and this is what I think is the most likely, pets. Gullimancy. You like him doing this is like charge. He's ordering something behind him to attack. He's like, you know, go! And what's behind him is no less than 47 golems. This will be the Scourge of PvP, not an actual Scourge. Bleep those guys. I mean, just like Scourge in the actual definition. So, yeah, my guess is that he's ordering all his little robots to charge. That's what I'm thinking. I'm also wondering, a while back there was a bug in the game where if an engineer right-clicked on the F4 button, their tool belt 4 skill, which was the F4 key, it brought up the panel to rename your pet. It was there for about a week, and it was a bug in the game. Now, it could be nothing, or it could be... Now, it was the pet rename window from the Ranger, and it was showing up on Engineer when you right-clicked F4. It could be that there was an accidental whoops, and it was going to be related to them getting a pet, which could be golems. So that's my guess. That's my guess. He's yelling charge that way, and he's barking orders at golems, which are going to attack, and they're going to get a pet build, and I would love to see it. My backup guess is that they're going to get like giant rock'em sock'em arms, and they're going to play with that. So, yeah, that is coming out soon. But we should have the trailer for the full class in then a couple of days, and then we'll react to that, and then we will find out.